Alright, welcome to the channel. This is a fun video for me. This is going to go over my top 5 acquisitions, anything from 2022. So 2022 was a big year for me, kind of got me back into the hobby of collecting cards. It's been a fun year. It was a fun year. Kind of started off with doing a little bit of yard sailing, got into some auctions and some purchasing of some cards, and I just managed to get real lucky in 2022 and just wanted to share with everybody what my 2022 cards looked like. Now I know there's a bunch of people out there that are going to look at these and go, mine are better, I had better cards than this, I had better opportunities than this, my collection's better than this. If it is, more power to you. I hope you enjoy your collection. I hope you share that collection with everybody out there and really celebrate the collection that you have. Congratulations on the card you have. Hopefully 2023 brings you just as much luck as 2022 did. If you don't feel you had the best luck in 2022, hopefully 2023 gives you the cards that you're looking for. Just keep chasing it. Have a good time with it. One of the things that I want to start off this video with, and it's something that I've really tried to put in my videos lately, is let's respect the cards. Let's respect the artist. I've seen a lot of YouTubers out there take their cards, and if it's not the card they want, they're tearing it up, they're throwing it down. They're just disrespecting that card, and I get it. Chase cards. YouTube has made the chase card the thing to go after. We're all ripping packs open trying to get that $500, $600 card. Please take into consideration that all the artwork on all these cards, somebody put their hard work into putting that artwork on these cards. They put a lot of effort into their education and their art to get it in front of the individuals, to have it approved to be put on these cards. So please, don't tear your cards up, don't crumble your cards, respect the artist. This artwork means something to somebody out there, whether you want it in your collection or not, or you're disappointed that you didn't get that chase card. So let's start off with my top 5 of 2022. Some of these cards, it's just sentimental value and the reason that they're part of my top 5. So I'm going to start off with a card that is fun and entertaining for me. So the Venusaur card, I found this in a garage sale, and again, like I said, 2022 was the year I started getting back into cards, and went out to a garage sale. They had some Pokemon cards and a big old bin. Started digging through, and this was right up on top of it, and I thought, wow, it's a base set Venusaur. So I went ahead and snagged this bin up, and inside of this bin was thousands of first edition Yu-Gi-Oh cards, a bunch of base set Venusaur or base set Pokemon cards, a couple shadowless cards. It was just a really good pickup for me, and it's something that really got me looking back into this as a hobby. Just the excitement of getting out into the garage sales and finding it. So it kind of really dictated the way that my 2022 went. Garage sales, auctions. I bought some cards in 2022, some packs, and managed to get lucky on some of them, but for the most part, everything that's gone into my collection picked up from auctions, garage sales. So just so you know, there are other opportunities out there to get out there and get some of these cards. You don't have to go spend all your money on cracking packs and buying booster boxes and, again, going through that chase to get what's out there. So there are some really good opportunities. So number 5 on my list for 2022 is my Venusaur. I sent this in and got it graded as a 5. The reason I sent this in to get it graded is I wanted it to be in a set with, obviously, the Charizard and the Blastoise that are also part of my set. And I don't know, maybe we'll see those here in a little bit. So Venusaur. One up there is my number 5. Number 4 for me, like I said, auctions. Auctions are a huge place to pick up some cards if you know what you're looking for and where you're looking at. I use Proxy Bid a good bit, and I managed to get incredibly lucky through Proxy Bid, and I found this next card for $15. $15 for a card that I was more than happy to add to my collection. The gold Charizard from the Celebrations pack. Could you grade it? Nobody grades these right now, or at all. Anywhere that you can find. PSA did grade these, CGC did grade these. PSA stopped grading these because they was actually damaging the cards when they was grading them, so they backed off. So there's only, I think, one PSA 10 of this in existence, and I believe Leon Hart owns it. if I'm correct on that. So just a cool card to have. It does have a little bit of scratch up on top and whatnot, but again, the Charizard is one of my biggest Pokemon that I go after. I'm probably one of those, majority individuals. Everybody likes Charizard. Those that don't, laugh at people that like Charizard. I like Charizard. I enjoy collecting, grading Charizard cards. And to be able to get this at such an amazing deal out of an auction site was just incredible. So my number 4 off the auction blocks is a Charizard in my collection. Number 3 for me. So up until this year, I had no idea what an ETB was. Couldn't tell you. Elite Trainer box, no idea. Said I stopped collecting cards for an incredibly long time. I was a Magic player from probably 95 through mid 2000s, and then to me Magic just got kind of run down. Just got a little too crazy for me, and as you can see where it's at now, it's just off the rails with what they're charging for packs of cards and where Magic's going with their whole slew of the different products, and I just completely backed away from Magic. So when I backed away from Magic, kind of backed away from everything till 2022, and I managed to buy a Shining Fates ETB one day after work, and decided to go and open it up, and said I'd never opened an ETB. And that brings me to my number 3. This was the first card I pulled out of an ETB that I've ever opened. So this card has a pretty special place for me as far as getting, again, back into the hobby of collecting cards. I knew the value of the card as soon as I opened it, just by the known that it's a Charizard VMAX. And I went ahead and sent this in to CGC to get it graded. And obviously everybody wants a 10, but I'm incredibly happy with the 9 on this. Beautiful card, beautiful shine to that. And for the most part, you're going to see I use CGC over PSA. I do actually have a handful of cards out to PSA right now getting graded, because I do like PSA's holders, but CGC for me is just the turnaround time is fantastic. Send something away to CGC, 7 to 10 days, you get it back in the mail. Yeah, a nice holder. They got some really good decal around the outside of it. I've never had an issue with CGC, but I do use PSA and CGC. Just if it's for my personal collection, I'm going to CGC it, because personal collection, again, I'm not really too worried about getting it into that PSA holder. I would just want it to be secured back on my shelf in a nice holder, and that's where this 9 comes in. So when we get down into number 2 and number 1, these are kind of collections that I got going on over here. So number 2 is near and dear to my heart. Number 2 I've had since 2002. These are cards that I bought in 2002, put into binders, put into boxes, stuffed them in my closet and left them there. Until this year, when I thought to myself, hey, I got some cards I need to dig out and see what's in there. And lo and behold, I dug them out, and I actually just was amazed at what I had. So first and foremost here, we'll get into the first edition Joey starter deck. First edition Joey starter deck that has the Red Eyes Black Dragon in it. This runs roughly $600 to $700, I believe. But again, had it in a box in the middle of my closet for almost 20 years, and decided that it was time to put it in a little keeper and secure that. So part 1 of number 2. I do have also a first edition Red Eyes Black Dragon out of that starter box. I'd actually purchased 2 at the time. One to open for my collection, put in a binder, obviously one to keep. This has been in a binder since I purchased it. Put that into PSA to get it graded, came back as a 9, so incredible 9 on that first edition Red Eyes Black Dragon. This next one is the only one of its kind in the world. It's the only one that exists inside of a keeper. So the only Shonen Jump Anniversary Pack 2008 in existence that is in a PSA keeper. It's one of a kind. I know some people may say, why'd you grade that? Those cards inside of it have very solid value. I graded it because, again, this is something that I've had in a binder in its natural box. I got the natural box still that this came in since 2008 when I purchased this, and it's just something that holds sentimental value to me, so I wanted to send that into PSA and get that graded. Came back as an 8, probably an 8 because there's not another one out there. They had nothing to compare it to. So how can you have a first grade 10 for what's out there? So got the 8 on this. Again, very happy with that little piece of nostalgia from good old Yu-Gi-Oh days. And last and most certainly not least of this collection is the first edition Legend of the Blue Eyes PSA 10 booster pack. Bought this off the shelf in a blister pack when it came out back in 2002. Tore it out of the blister pack and put it straight into a binder sleeve. I had sat in that binder sleeve for years and years and years, and I took it out of that binder sleeve and I put it into a frame. And I sat in that frame for a couple years, and then 2022 came around and I got back into this hobby that a lot of us enjoy and spend a good bit of money on and enjoy and make a good bit of money off of, and sent this in to get it graded and was just absolutely floored when it came back as a PSA 10. So this will be in my collection for an incredibly long time. I would expect one of my daughters somewhere down the line, or their children, to use this as a very nice investment on something somewhere down the line. And that gets us into number 1. As I said, auctions have been my thing this year. The opportunities you have in auctions and what's out there on the auction sites and in the auction scene, if you know where to look, you can just land some amazing wins off these auction sites. So I use proxy bid a good bit. And again, when you get into proxy bid, you're looking at Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, different things like that, different places with the apostrophes. I managed to come across an auction one day and they spelled Pokemon wrong. They put an apostrophe in the middle of it and split it up to where it said Pokey apostrophe Mon, which fortunately for me turned around that not a ton of people saw that in the auction house. So I managed to get this number 1 in my collection from 2022 for $175. And we're going to try to put this in front of the camera, and it's going to be relatively difficult. So the first part of number 1 is going to be this binder here, and that's very difficult to see in that binder. But inside of this binder is going to be the complete Mewtwo Strikes Back movie card set. And in this movie card set, there are the holofoils, the foils, the holograms, and I even managed to land the promo 0 card, which is relatively rare to get for this. On top of this, the collection carries on with the entire Pikachu's Vacation rundown and the Pokemon evolutions from that time. So a complete set of that entire card series was pretty incredible to land out of that, but that wasn't the best part of it. Again, $175 I think I paid for this, not even the best part. So in that card set, I managed to get a base set Blastoise. This card was raw when I received that nut auction. It was a raw card, but I sent it in to get it graded because it just looked immaculate, looked incredible. Managed to get it back as a 9. Just outstanding grade on that. I said again earlier, I already had the Venusaur, I had the Blastoise. I did and do have a Charizard that's graded as a PSA 8. My daughter has that in her collection. But in this auction house, in this auction for $175 was the gem that we all look for. And again, like I said, these cards are out there. You just gotta know where to look and how to get lucky. I managed to get this Charizard, base set Charizard. This base set Charizard was raw, ungraded, in this binder with all these cards I just showed you, and that Blastoise. And it was such good condition, I sent it out to CGC to get it graded. Again, I sent it to CGC because I knew it was a 10-day turnaround, and I just wanted this thing protected. Could not believe when it came back, and I got it as a 9.5. outstanding grade. Just floored me with a 9.5. I shared it with a bunch of friends in some of the chat groups, and everybody's pretty much been unanimous that send it to PSA, send it to PSA, you're probably going to get a 10. I may at some point send this to PSA. I'm trying to decide. I know if I send this to PSA and it's 10, it's going to cost a hefty bit of money to get that 10 on there. So not sure if I'm going to do that right now. I'm just happy that it's part of my collection. As you can see, pretty happy with Charizard cards. I actually have probably another dozen Charizard cards up on my shelf, graded various grades from different series. And yeah, that's my top 5 acquisitions from 2022. It's a pretty good collection in my opinion. It's a good start to 2023 and getting me back into this hobby. As I start to build this baseline and this foundation of this channel and really share what we got out there, we'll do some pack breaks and some box openings. We'll get you out there and try to get some submissions from everybody to see what kind of videos you want, and really just see what we can do as a community to try to drive these hobbies. Not strictly associated with Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! So I did play Magic for an extended period of time. I do have an incredible collection of comic books. I actually have several comic books out to CGC to get graded. God, that takes forever, but it's worth it, again, if it's something that you want to do. So thank you for joining me. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed my collection from 2022. Love to hear what you all got from 2022, what your plans are in 2023, and just where you want to drive this hobby. So stay blessed. Thank you all. Peace out. Have a good evening.